And you know, it said that we have to be divine scientists and divine physicists, but it's also been said that we have to be divine alchemists. The ancient alchemists, unlike those of more recent times, who were using a formula to using the elements to make base metal into gold, the ancient alchemists were seeking the elixir of immortality. And in seeking the elixir of immortality, they not only used the material elements, but they used all other elements that are present in existence, like the timing of the seasons, like their own moods, and so forth. So bearing that in mind, there are 3 little stories to put together and see what they create as a chemistry for us. The first is a story about a very old woman who, when walking down the road, came upon a wandering monk, and she became his servant. She followed him everywhere. She built him little shelters when he was meditating. She caught fish for him. She picked the herbs that were necessary for him when he was ill. And after some many years, she decided that she would test him. So she went to the nearest town and she commissioned the most beautiful young prostitute that she could find to go to him and proposition him, and then to report back to her. So when the young courtesan came back to the old woman asked and said, "Well, what happened?" And the young woman said, "The monk said to me, a dead tree on a cold rock in winter, nowhere is there any warmth." "Is that all he said?" she said. She said, "Why, that ungrateful creature." And she immediately went and burnt down his hut and sent him packing on his way. Second story is about a certain master who told his disciple to go on a pilgrimage and find everyone he could who considered themselves to be lucky. And when he did, he should serve them. He should listen to them. After the disciple had left, someone said to the master, "Why did you send him on such a journey?" And the master said, "I sent him on this journey to seek those people who believe that they are lucky, because lucky people are calm. But if I had told him to look for calm people, he would not have understood and been able to find them. So I had to choose the one attribute of those who are calm." And then someone said, "But what about if he finds someone who is really lucky, who is not just lucky, but knows they're lucky?" And the master said, "Well, if he is fortunate enough to find someone like this, he will have found a teacher and a master, and this man will know what to do with my disciple. And the third story, which has been told before, is again a story of a seeker after enlightenment who comes to a certain master, and the master says, well, go and find the happiest man in the world and ask to wear his shirt. So the seeker went off, and he went, and his travels took him all over the globe. From place to place he asked, do you have the happiest man in the world here? And they would point to someone. But when the seeker went to ask of this person, he found that indeed he was not the happiest man after all. But finally, after all his travels, he came upon a village nestled just at the edge of a great forest. And his usual question was asked, do you know where I can find the happiest man in the world? And they said, oh yes, you go in the pathway in the forest there and you'll find him. So the seeker went off, and he found his pathway through the forest until finally he started to hear a sound. And it was the sound of someone laughing. So he followed the sound of the laughter until he came to a clearing. And there he saw a man sitting under a tree with a great sombrero on his head, and he was laughing. So the seeker went up to him and he said, are you the happiest man in the world? And the man stopped his laughter and said, yes, can't you see that I'm the happiest man in the world? Well, said the seeker, I was told by my master that I had to seek you and that I had to wear your shirt. Well, the man started to laugh again. His laughter rang out through all the forest. The trees were laughing, the birds were laughing, the animals were laughing. And then he lifted his sombrero, and the seeker saw that it was his very own master who had sent him on the quest. And the master kept laughing, and the seeker said, well, how can you laugh? Well, said the master, first of all, can't you see that I'm not wearing a shirt? And secondly, the reason you were sent on this quest is so this seems very strange to have three stories of this kind, but we know the ways of alchemy. We know that the ancient alchemists not only used the elements, which can be considered to be words, but also timing, how they're feeling inside, what the energies are that are around at a particular time, and then they mix them together. Isn't this what true alchemy is about? When you're with someone or you walk into a room, like someone came yesterday for a long talk, and they were saying that they went to a function, and when they went in, because of something that had happened in the newspaper the day before, hardly anyone spoke to them, and they didn't even mention what was in the newspaper. It was like they were all shunning them. But despite that, he knew that he was supposed to be there. So he continued as usual, speaking and doing what he did. What is it about alchemy, life now? Where do they meet? We walk into a room and we feel the vibes. Oh, yuck, I'm not wanted here. They don't like my kind here. And yet there's a knowing. I'm supposed to be here. Where do they meet? What happens with this great alchemy? What is it that happens when stillness and movement meet? And does stillness obviate all of our intuitions and those things that come together in Satchitananda? Our street smarts, our intuition, and our unity with all beings? How does it work? But we have these questions still looming. But now, in the immediacy, with the alchemy that's right here and right now, what is it that that master said to the seeker when he lifted his sombrero? The reason I sent you on this journey is what?
Find yourself.
Mm-hmm. Self?
The true.
All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's all the same.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's the master, the student, the tree, the bird,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's all the same.
And another question, what's the relationship between calmness and luck? Why did the master say, I choose the attribute that arises out of calmness? Because if I sent him on a quest to look for calmness, he wouldn't be able to find it. Why is there that relationship between luck and calmness? But we've already been there before in looking at luck and what it really meant. So this is alchemy. We have to let it work in its own way. But we can answer the question, why have I been on this journey? When what I'm to find was where I started. But until we do, we can't acknowledge that we've already arrived. We'll still be journeying. We'll still be questing. We'll still be a seeker. Isn't it so?
There's no doubt that in the journey we've been through, the energy, at least inside, has changed enormously.
Yes.
In a big way.
All right.
So it must alchemize in a different way now.
Yes.
And there's no such thing as luck,
No.
because that person has already arrived there,
Mhm.
so there's no luck in it for them.
No. No.
Luckiest may be a word from the people outside that don't see the field underneath. The names
Exactly,
of the
exactly, exactly.
It's why they're calm,
That's why, yes,
because they're on the way,
The-
and they know where they are.
they are. Yes,
So there's nothing.
yes.
It's the shirt is the gateless gate.
The gateless gate.
The gateless gate. The shirtless shirt.
Yes.
But like you said with the luck, it's what is perceived by others as being the outcome of just being of that calmness, that surety, that
Uh-huh.
whatever happens,
Yes.
it's okay.
Yes.
Whether it goes this way space, then magic happens, because you're not actually pushing forward.
All right. Okay.
You're not seeking anymore.
You're not seeking anymore. You're not in movement anymore.
No.
Okay. We're cooking with gas.